All right, so we're going to start off with a Arex SA220 hook. I already threw it on there. So starting off with an Arex SA220 hook. It's already on the vise right here. I'm just going to use some brown thread. It's wax. It really don't matter, honestly, what color thread we use. I'm going to wrap some thread around just below the eye of the hook right here, just to get the eyes in there. Snip that off there like that. I'm using a bigger lead eye on this one. What size is this one? It's a 7/32 inch eye that I'm going to use on here. It's almost like it's not black, but it's like a natural lead color, kind of. All right, we're going to get the started with a few wraps one way. I'm going to get some wraps the other way to get the eye straight on the hook. All right, I'm just going to turn, make sure I got the eye in line with the hook right there, which I think I do. Yeah, that's pretty good. All right, now that we get the eye started, I'm just gonna go ahead and do a bunch of X wraps on it. Just get a bunch of X wraps in there. Just get a bunch of X wraps on the eye right here, y'all. That'll be pretty good. Now we're gonna go around the bottom of the eye and just kind of lash it in there, so the eye's on there good and tight, because you don't want it spinning. You start catching fish. Hello, man. Just not fishing today, so I thought I would tie some flies. All right, after you get the little lead eye tied on there, I'm just running the thread down the shank of the hook. I'm just going to get it about in line with the tip of the hook right there, a little bit past it. It really don't matter. I'm going to take some Silarez. It's just it's a epoxy glue basically, but it dries with UV light, and you want to put a good bit of that on that thread around your eye, where you put the lead on the hook, because you don't want that lead spinning when you start catching fish. And just take it's a ultraviolet light, and that stuff dries within seconds, y'all. But we're gonna hit it with the ultraviolet light. You might can see it on camera, but smoke will actually come up from that stuff drying. So we're just gonna hit that for a little bit. That'll be dry. We've already ran the thread down the hook right here. Where am I from? I'm from Georgia, but I don't live in Georgia. All right, we're gonna take some deer tail right here, just like a olive colored deer tail, and get a chunk of it like this right here. Cut it off. The reason I'm tying this fly today, y'all, me and another fishing guy went fishing recently. Neither one of us was fishing that day. He called me. We took his boat, went fishing because we were both off. All right, you want to get your chunk of deer hair like that. So anyway, we went fishing, and this is the fly that I was throwing. Or I was throwing the fly very close to this. So you want to set it on the hook like that, y'all. Get some wraps, get it started, and then go ahead and wrap that deer tail around your hook like that. So I was throwing a fly very similar to this one, except I changed it up a little bit, and I'm going to show y'all how I changed it here in just a little bit. And that's what I was catching all my fish on. This is close. It's basically a Hopedale crab pattern, but I added a couple of things to it, because we were out there fishing. He was like, man, you ought to add this and that. So I was like, yeah, that's a cool idea. So that's what I did. So I've already tied one just to kind of get my pattern down. And now I thought I would go live and show y'all. All right. So after you get the tail on there like that, I'm taking a black Sharpie. And we're going to put some black stripes on there. Breaks up that tail a little bit. Gives the fly kind of like a little, even though it's not a shrimp, it gives it like a little shrimpy vibe going on. It makes it look good, makes it look cool, man. Looking cool is half the battle. All right, so there you go. So you got the black little stripes on the tail with the Sharpie. Now we're gonna grab some flash right here. I got, this one's kind of like a brown with a little gold in it. We're gonna put about 3 strands. You're gonna grab about 3 strands off of here. Let's see. It's hard to see with that light in my face, but well, I got the light turned on so y'all can see the fly. All right, so I'm gonna grab 3 strands or so and just cut about 3 strands off there, y'all. Like that. So we got 3 strands of this little brown flash. It's got a little gold tint to it, but it's brown. You're gonna take that, wrap it around your thread like that. And I got it up above the thread like so, y'all. I'm just gonna put a couple of wraps to get it on there, get started on there. Now I'm gonna take those strands and I'm gonna hold them down to the side of the fly like this right here, and do a few more wraps, and that'll just help keep those strands down to the side of the fly like that. So I got a few little strands on there, and when this is in the water, y'all, this is gonna float backwards along with that tail. Now I'm gonna take some gold. I'm just gonna do the same thing. I like a little flash, some flash in the tail of this thing, y'all. And you cannot go wrong with gold when it comes to really any kind of fishing, especially stuff like redfish and bass and all that. Same thing, I got 3 strands right here, y'all. Just cut them off. Same thing. Gonna wrap them around the thread, pull them up right here. Do a couple of wraps to get them started. I'm gonna hold these gold strands down to the side of the fly like that and get a few more wraps. And what that's gonna do when you hold it down to the side, it just keeps them down to the side like so. Just like that, y'all. When this is in the water, all this flows backwards like that in the water, y'all. All right, so now I'm gonna take saddle hackle. I got an olive, which is saddle hackle. It's a fancy name for a feather. I don't know why they call it saddle hackle. It's just a colored feather. I'm not a fly tying historian, so I don't know. We're gonna pull off 1 feather. So I got 1 feather right here, y'all. And obviously on this end of the feather down here, it's kind of a hard section. So we're gonna cut that end off like that. And I'm just gonna pull off a little bit of that plumage or whatever, a little of that soft feather. And there we go. I'm gonna take that and just set this on top of the hook right here. I'm gonna get a few wraps in it to get it started. To hold that feather on there like that. Now we're gonna take this feather. And a lot of times, y'all, I'll just take my thread, my little bobbin right here, and I'll just kind of hang it over the front of my hook, over the lead right there. Oh, you're 364 subs, man. That's awesome. I've been doing YouTube actually quite a while now, y'all, and I've only got a little less than 3,000, but you know, and I got 500 something videos out there, but that's fine. All right, y'all. So we're gonna I just kind of hang that over the eye like that, just to get out of my way. Now I'm gonna take this right here, and I got, when you start tying flies, y'all, you get stuff laying everywhere. I'm gonna take these little, they're kind of like tweezers, like a little clamp thing, and put it on the feather like that. And I'm gonna start wrapping this feather actually I'm gonna use my finger to start with, just so I can hold this. Start wrapping this feather around the hook, and I'm gonna keep the feather kind of pushed back towards the back of the hook, towards that tail of the hook. And I'm gonna wrap a little forward, going towards the front of the hook, y'all. And this right here is just gonna add some body to the fly. Now I'm gonna put the little tweezer things back on there again. Makes it easier to wrap. It adds some body to the fly, y'all, and gives it some action in the water. It does a lot. The bigger the body is on the fly, the more water it's going to push. So when you get that fly out there in front of the redfish, you know, they can feel, they got sensors all over their face, and they can feel movement. So when that fly comes by them, it'll actually push water, and they'll be able to feel that. All right, y'all, we're just going to do a few more wraps right here. That'll be good. Now I'm going to take your thread, so you're holding this little front part right here out of the way, y'all, and just do a few wraps to get this, to hold that on there, and then we're going to cut off this little excess right here, just like that. All right, so now we've put the tail on there with deer hair. We've put some flash. I used some brown, kind of like a brown flash right here, y'all, and I used a little bit of gold. Love my gold. And now we're going to do a few more wraps on this feather. Oh, and then we put a piece of a saddle hackle feather on there. And there we go. That's what we got so far. Now, this is where I'm changing it up a little bit from the fly I was throwing the other day. My buddy was like, dude, you ought to throw some little legs on the side. So I just did this pattern. I just kind of sat down and put this together before I went live. And it looked pretty cool, so this is what I came up with. So we're going to take some legs right here. These are basically green and black, but they have just a little bit of color in them. They got a little bit of like blue and green glitter in them also. So we got 3 little legs right here, y'all. I'm going to go ahead, and normally a lot of times you put these actually towards the back. But I kind of want to put them in the middle of the body right here and have them flowing down to the side. So we're going to take some legs. Same thing, we're going to wrap these around the thread right here to get them started. Just like that. And now I'm going to do, let me tighten my thread right here. I'm going to bob it. I don't need that much thread out. All right, now we're going to do a couple of wraps to get these started, y'all. I know it might be hard to see what I'm doing right there, but and the same thing, we're going to take 3 legs. I got 3 legs in each finger right here. I'm going to pull them down and to the side, and I'm going to do a couple more wraps to hold those in place. Now, I don't want the legs that long, so I'm going to pull all of them up like right here, and I'm going to cut them with my scissors. So now we're going to have these little legs kind of off to the side, just adding a little more action to the fly. I just came up with this fly just a little bit ago, y'all, so just sat down and whatever. So this is only the second one of these I've tied. Like I said, we were out there fishing. My buddies came up with a couple ideas, so I said I would tie it. All right, now I'm grabbing a piece of EP brush, y'all. Where's the package for that? That's what the package looks like, a little EP brush. And this, what color does it say on here? It might be on the plastic right here. The color is minnow head. It's called backcountry, I guess. So I'm adding this, y'all, to add more body to that fly so it pushes more water. And you don't need much of this. I'm only going to grab a couple of inches of it. So just a couple of inches of it and cut that off. You use this a lot on like fish flies. What I mean, if you're making like a fly that's with a fish body, you can use this and make a fish body out of it. I'm adding it to this fly to add some poofiness to it, basically. Add a lot of body to it. All right, now I just want to get this EP brush started. This has a wire. This has a wire that runs through the middle of it, y'all. You might can see that if I do it like that. So I just want to get that started on the fly, that wire. Come on, Shane. All right. So get that wire started on there. I had way too much thread pulled out just then, so it looks weird. All right, I'm gonna hang this thread. Actually, I'm gonna hang it out of the way again. Now what you want to do, you want to fold this stuff back, because that's how it looks. You want to fold this back as you wrap it. So fold it back towards the back of the hook as you wrap it. And it's going to give that fly a lot more body, and it's going to push a lot more water. We're almost done with the fly, y'all. We got one more ingredient, I guess, after this, and we'll be done with it. So I'm just pushing that body back towards the back of the fly. And this stuff's going to be poofing out all over. It looks crazy, but it works out in the end, trust me. All right, that's probably enough. So I'm gonna go ahead and do a couple of wraps just to hold it on there, and I'm gonna snip off the excess right there. Like I said, it looks crazy, but it works out. I'm gonna show y'all. All right, now we're just gonna do some wraps to get that, hold that on there real good. Making almost like a little thread dam right there. So now we got this poofiness right there, y'all. And what you can do, you can take like a little bar, pick through it. You can take all kinds of stuff, but I'm just using a toothbrush right here, y'all. And I'm just gonna brush that stuff back. It's kind of a stiff toothbrush. All right. So now we've got the tail. We added some flash to it. We've added some little rubber legs to it. I went with an olive feather, piece of saddle hackle to give it a little flow and a little body. Now we went with a piece of EP brush to give it a little bit more body because I really want to push some water. Now the last ingredient, y'all, I'm gonna go with some crack wrap. I can't remember the color on it. It's basically like a natural kind of an olive color with some gold. So we're gonna go with some crack wrap, same thing. I'm gonna get a couple of inches of crack wrap, turn that off. Turn it off. Cut it off. Got the crack wrap right here. Just gonna get that started. right here around the head. Get a couple of good little tight wraps to get it on there and get started. Now I'm gonna take the crack wrap, I'm gonna wrap it. Y'all always wrap everything in the same direction I'm going with the thread. Just kind of keep it all flowing the same direction. So I'm gonna pull these fibers back towards the back of the hook like I'm doing now. And then we're gonna wrap them. And that's gonna give the front of the fly a little action and a little shine to it, make it look cool. Come down here to Louisiana where we are, y'all, and drop this thing in front of a 20+ pounder and hold on tight. Because they will eat it like a Dairy Queen Blizzard and take off with it like they stole your lunch money. Just getting some wraps right here behind it, and then we'll trim it up, make it look cool, like so. I'll do a little bit of trimming right here. Some of my poofiness has made it towards the eye of the hook right there. Probably because I got a light shining in my eyeballs, because I was trying to make it easier for y'all to see the fly. So it's not as perfect looking as I would like it to be. But it don't really matter. The fish will eat it. The perfect looking part's just for the fisherman, y'all. Trust me, that thing right there goes in front of a redfish, he's gonna smoke it. Alright, get a few more wraps on this right here, y'all. Make sure it's held in place. Now I'm gonna throw a few wraps on the front right here. And then tie it off. My little tie thingy right there. Alright, y'all. Give it 4 or 5 wraps on there. I usually do mine a few times. One more time just for the heck of it. Probably don't need that many because I'm going to put some glue on there. Dang it, come on, Shane. Alright. Good enough. Alright. Cut off your little excess thread. Now we're going to throw some UV glue on there again. Over that thread to lock that in place. And just for the heck of it, I'll put a little bit more on the eye right there. Hit it with a UV light, y'all, just a little solar res UV light. That will dry that glue really quick, within a few seconds actually. While y'all are here, y'all should go check out my channel and check out my latest regular full-length fishing video. I think it's called Catching Giants or Catching Monsters at the Gulf of America, baby. That's what it's called, I think. And it was the last fly fishing charter I did, and we ended up having 10 on fly. It was a pretty good day. All right, y'all. Let me move this out of the way so y'all can. So that's basically it that we just tied. So when it's in the water, this up here, I mean, all this is gonna push some water, y'all. This back here will flow backwards. It's got the little put some little rubber legs on there. Some little shiny. Got some shiny on the hiney. So when that thing drops in front of a redfish, eases down, strip it a couple of times and hold on tight. That's basically it, y'all. Didn't take long. I know I've been live about 26 minutes, but talking and everything else. But if you're just sitting here tying and knocking them out, it shouldn't take but about maybe 15 minutes per fly, something like that, to knock them out. So let's see. I guess I could do. I tell you what, we can do the pattern since I got a few people watching. We'll do the pattern that the last charter that I did, last fly fishing charter, about 3 or 4 days ago. I'll do the pattern that we were smoking them on that day. I'm gonna get a little bit of stuff out of the way right here, y'all. I'll do the pattern that we were catching them on. Give me just a second, y'all. I'm just getting some extra supplies out of the way. Uh-oh, dog's going crazy next door. All right, y'all, let's knock out the pattern that we were throwing. It was actually a shrimp pattern, so it's kind of cool. Last charter I did, we were throwing a shrimp pattern. We ran out to the Gulf. We had a calm day. It was basically like glass that morning. So we ran out to the Gulf and we started out that morning. It started out kind of slow. You'd have to watch the video, I guess. It started out kind of slow. And then about mid-morning, we started smoking them, y'all. We got on a bunch of redfish, a bunch of black drum. There were fish everywhere. All right, so we're going to start off with another SA220 hook. It's an Arex SA220. But yeah, that was the last charter I did. Started out kind of slow. And we just weren't seeing a lot of fish that morning. We saw some early, but not a lot. But then we got on this one bank, y'all. And as soon as we got on this one bank, there were reds everywhere, and we started wearing them out. So SA220 hook right here. Put that on the vise, just like that. I'll hold right there. Then we use a regular deer tail. And I'm just going to get a chunk of white off the deer tail right here, y'all. That looks pretty good. So I'm going to take a chunk of white off this deer tail. The pattern we're about to tie is a shrimp pattern that we were smoking them on my last charter, y'all. We were actually throwing 2 different flies. We were throwing pretty much kind of the fly that we just tied, and we were throwing them on this shrimp pattern right here. I got a little ahead of myself. First thing we're gonna do, we're gonna wrap a little thread. We're gonna wrap a little thread. I got a little ahead of myself just then, y'all, because I was talking about fishing. Look at that, the thread broke. I'll just grab this other one right here. Don't really matter about the color of the thread. We're gonna wrap a little thread around the hook right here, y'all. So you got something for the eye, your lead eyes to sit on. Go ahead and cut that off. We're just gonna tie a shrimp pattern. Anybody just joining? We're gonna tie a shrimp pattern real quick. This is the fly that we were smoking them on last chart I did. We're gonna use some pink eyes on here, y'all. I said last charter we had a calm day. We ran out to the Gulf and fished around the island out there. And we ended up having 10 on fly. I don't know how many we saw. I don't know how many fish we saw. A lot. All right, grab your eye right here. You want to get it started, so do a few wraps on one side to kind of get it started. It's going to be canted a little bit. Start wrapping the other side, going in the opposite direction. That's going to straighten that fly. That fly. It's going to straighten out those eyes on the hook because you want to get them 90 degrees with the hook, you know. I'm just going to turn this real quick, y'all, to make sure. All right, we're good. After you get that eye started like that, y'all, just start wrapping it. You want to do some X wrap, so I'm just doing X's across this eye right here, y'all. Do some X wraps on there like that. That's probably good. Now we're gonna go under the eye, like you're lashing two poles together, and that's gonna, when you go under it like this, you're pulling those X's tight. That's basically what you're doing. That's probably pretty good. All right, now we're just gonna run that thread down the hook, y'all. All right, my dogs are starting to get up, so that means they're all gonna gang up on me. One gets up, they're like, oh, we're gonna go over there and gang up on Dad. All right, we're gonna grab some solar. I was just looking, y'all, see if there was any comments. Grab some Solar Res, little glue right here, some little epoxy glue. I'm gonna put that on the eye, the thread right here around the eye. Hit that with a UV light. If anybody just joining, we're tying a shrimp pattern that I just used on one of my last charters. The full video, you see the smoke coming off there, y'all, from the glue. The full video of that charter is on my YouTube channel. It's going to be the latest full-length fishing video. We ended up having 10 on fly. We missed a couple that day. It was those guys. Actually, it was their first time ever fishing for redfish on the fly, and they did really well. They ended up putting 10 in the boat. All right, y'all. So what this is, we got a deer tail right here. I cut a chunk of the deer tail off right here. I might end up cutting off a little bit more. We'll just add to that. Just a little bit more deer tail. I know why my dogs are jumping up, y'all. It's getting close to time for them to EAT. I don't want to say the word because they'll go crazy. And somehow they have a built-in clock, and they all know it's getting close to time. All right, y'all, taking the deer tail right here. We're gonna get that started. couple of wraps. And I always just make sure that it's kind of sitting on top of my hook right here before I wrap it up all the way. Now we're going to wrap that around the hook right here, y'all. That's good enough. I pulled off, y'all hear my dogs? I pulled off some of those strands because I always kind of pull and catch any that are wanting to come off, but sometimes you'll have a few stragglers. Now we're going to take a black Sharpie. We're going to put some little stripes on the tail of this shrimp right here. Some little black stripes. Just like that. All right, y'all. Now I'm going to grab some eyes. Which are right here in my box somewhere. Here they are. I wasn't planning on tying this fly, y'all. Thank y'all for watching, by the way. So I wasn't quite prepared for this one. Already tied one, and then I just thought I'd jump into this one. So we're gonna grab some easy shrimp eyes right here. And I always flip this over, just like that. And this is what the easy shrimp eyes look like right here, y'all. I'm gonna take those. If you notice, it makes a V right there where the eyes come apart. I'm gonna lay that on top of the hook and kind of, we're gonna split the hook with those eyes right there. Now I'm gonna get a few wraps in that to get it started. I'm gonna make sure it's nice and split up right there. That looks pretty good. Now I'm gonna finish wrapping that. So we're gonna wrap these easy shrimp eyes on there. Just like that. Now what I do, y'all, I always take some of the Solar Res glue right here and I put it on that thread where I just put those shrimp eyes, like that. Do a little bit more. And then I hit that with the UV light, and it's going to kind of just help hold those easy shrimp eyes. You can see them kind of glowing right there in the UV light, but that'll help hold those on there. If you're just joining, this is a fly pattern that we were using on my the last fly charter I did just a few days ago. We were smoking them on this right here. All right, so now we got that on there. I'm gonna go ahead and flip this back over like that. And I'm gonna add just a couple little chartreuse, actually. We're gonna add just a couple little chartreuse flashes down it. And not many, just a couple on each side. But when this thing is in the water, those chartreuse flashes flow back with the tail. And it adds some shine on that tail and that little bit of chartreuse color. And like I said, y'all, the fish were smoking it the other day. Here they are. I had to find little chartreuse right here. The fish were smoking this pattern the other day, y'all. I'm surprised there's no comments. Y'all can leave comments on Ask Me Questions and stuff. I love talking about fishing now. If any of y'all that don't know, I'm a fishing guy down here in Louisiana. I do mostly inshore, redfish, speckled trout, all that. And I do both fly fishing and, regular spinning rods, spinning gear stuff. So I'm going to take just a few strands of this chartreuse. Actually, I'm only going to take 2 strands. You don't need much. So I got 2 strands of this chartreuse right here. I'm going to cut it off. A little chartreuse right here, y'all. And what I do, I take this and kind of half it with the thread like that. Go on each side of the thread. Now, I just want to do a couple of wraps to get this started on there. And then I'm going to take these 2. So I got 2 on each side. I'm holding them to the side right here, y'all. And I'm going to do some more wraps. And that's going to keep them kind of down to the side of the fly. Like that. And when this is in the water, these are going to flow backwards, y'all. And they'll go right along the tail of the fly when it's in the water. It just adds just a little shine. You don't need a whole lot on there on this fly. This is like a little shrimp pattern. So you don't need a whole lot of shine on that. Just a little bit. All right. Now, grab a pink feather, if I can find them right here, y'all. Here we go. Pink piece of saddle hackle. Let's see, I want a decent sized one because I want some body. This is really just adding some body back here to the back of this fly. There's a decent one right there. I'm gonna pull one off here. Okay, I'm gonna take this thick part of the feather right here on the front and just cut that off, y'all. Just cutting that off. Now I'm gonna take a little bit of that plumage right here at the front and just pull that off there like that. So there we go. We're left with this. I'm going to set this right here on top of my hook. Like so. And get a few wraps to get that started. Get some wraps in there to kind of hold it on there really good. Like that. Now we're going to take this and wrap it. Sometimes these saddle hackles, these feathers, sometimes they break, y'all. If they break, you just have to start over. That's a natural feather. So, and we're gonna wrap this. I'm kind of working towards the eye of the hook right here. And what you want to do, you want to brush these feathers back as you're wrapping. And I do all my wrapping, everything I do, y'all, I wrap in the same direction that I'm doing the thread. The way I see it just popped out of my hand. It'll do that sometimes. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and grab. I got tweezers right here. These little tweezer things. I'm gonna clip those on. I can't believe I got 40 people watching. That's either 40 people that are super bored at work or that's actually interested in watching me tie this fly. All right, and we're gonna go ahead and wrap that. If y'all new to the channel, y'all, please subscribe and check out my actual fishing videos. For those of you who don't know, I'm a fishing guy down here in Louisiana. So we're wrapping this towards the front of what you call it, front of the fly right here. All right, that ought to be good. I'm gonna do a couple of wraps to hold this. And then I'm gonna cut this piece of feather off that I got on the clamp right here, just like that. All right, y'all, I'm gonna brush this back and just kind of get some wraps in here to hold that on there real good. So that's what we got so far. We're tying a shrimp pattern. For everybody that's just joining, this is the pattern that we were smoking them on my last charter here. Well, we ended up with 10 in the boat, which you know, fly fishing, that's a pretty good day for redfish to get 10 fish in the boat. All right, y'all. Now I'm gonna grab this right here, some crack wrap. I got some white and I got some pink crack wrap right here, y'all. I'm gonna go with this pink crack wrap first. It's literally called crack wrap. Crack wrap. Y'all didn't know Hunter Biden was a big crab, or a big fly fisherman, did you? He came up with this. So it almost smells like Parmesan. I'm just kidding. All right. So we're going to take a couple of inches of this crack wrap right here, y'all. Cut this off. All you need is a couple of inches. There's a Michael Scott joke in there somewhere, but I'll let y'all figure that out. All right, y'all. I've got a couple inches of crack wrap right here. This is the kind of like a pink color, like a peachy kind of pink color. And I'm gonna get that started on here. Like so. Now I'm gonna take and wrap that. As I wrap it we're wrapping the same direction that I do my thread, and we're gonna wrap it towards the front of the hook. While you're wrapping it, you're taking all this right here, y'all, and you're gonna keep this pulled back towards the back of the hook. That's what you're doing. While you're wrapping it, you're gonna just keep that. Like I said, if you're just joining, this is the fly that the last fly charter I did just a few days ago. This is the one. This is the fly that we had the most of our success on that day. All right, y'all. So I'm wrapping this towards the front, just keeping this stuff kind of pushed back towards the back of the hook. And y'all, if y'all watch my channel, check out some of my fishing videos. Y'all see I chase those big giant bull reds pretty much year round. I follow them. I've you know, fishing out here for so many years. I've figured out where they are, what time of the year. So a lot of times my clients were out chasing giants. All right, y'all. Cut off a little bit of that right there. We'll make it look pretty here in a second. All right, now we're gonna do some wraps on that. We got one more ingredient, y'all, and we'll be done with this fly. So far, I used pink eyes on this fly. Let me show y'all. Used pink eyes on here. We put that on there. This is an Arex SA220 hook. I used pink eyes on there. Put the little glue on the eyes to help hold them in place. We used deer tail right here. Put the deer tail on there. I took a black Sharpie, put stripes on there, And if you see right here, y'all, we've got little eyes, these little shrimp eyes. Put some little chartreuse easy shrimp eyes on there. And then I took just a couple of strands of chartreuse flash and put just a couple of strands on each side. That's just going to add a little color and a little flash to that tail. Then we took a pink feather, piece of pink saddle hackle, put that on there. Now we just put kind of like a peachy colored crack wrap on there. Now, last ingredient, we're going to take some white crack wrap. The all natural color crack wrap. And same thing, I'm just going to cut off a couple of inches of crack wrap, y'all. You don't need much. Y'all, every time I tie flies, I got so much mess I have to clean up. I have to put all this stuff back in my little tie flying thing, little supply box over here, and then sweep up all this stuff, y'all, every time. All right, y'all, so we got a couple of inches of crack wrap right here. We'll get that started. I know that's not perfect looking. We'll get it prettier here in a second. Now we got that tied on there, got it started. We're gonna wrap that again, going in the same direction as you wrap your thread. Always go in the same direction. And you want to keep that crack wrap pulled back towards the back of the hook, y'all, towards the back of the fly. While you're wrapping. Towards the eye of the hook. And then you just take your little excess right there, do a couple of wraps just to hold it. Cut that off. And now, just do some wraps to hold that on there. Really good. And now, y'all, it's just a matter of cleaning up some little excess just to make your fly look cool. It don't have to look cool to the fish. They're going to eat it either way. But if you want it to look cool to your clients or to yourself, or if you're selling them or whatever, you know, if you want to make it look like it's perfect, you can cut off some of your little excess whatever on there. But trust me, the fish are going to eat that. That thing goes in front of a redfish, he's going to eat it like a Dairy Queen blizzard. That joker's going to be the blizzard of the month when it goes in front of a redfish, trust me. All right. So we got a few more wraps right there, y'all. And now we're just going to throw a few wraps right here around the eye. And then tie it off, y'all. So I got my little fancy tire thingies. Wow, 56 people watching. That's either, y'all are either super bored or actually interested. Can't believe it. All right. Y'all sitting at work right now, hating it. Which I would be doing the same thing, trust me. All right, y'all, we're just going to do about 4 or 5 wraps on there. I used to do, believe it or not, I used to do IT. I used to do computer work. I used to sit behind a computer. I feel y'all's pain, man. All right. Wrap it a few more times right here. And y'all, you probably don't have to do it this many times. I'm just OCD about it. If y'all watch my channel and see the size redfish we catch on a regular basis, that's why I do it, y'all. We catch 20 pounders like it's not even hard. That's a normal thing to catch redfish over 20 pounds down here. That's like a regular basis kind of thing. All right, y'all. So now that I got some thread on there, let me cut a couple of those strings right there off. And that's not me bragging. That's just a fact down here in South Louisiana. You catch. That's why people come from all over the world to catch redfish down here because we got big ones, y'all. Now I'm gonna put some glue around that thread right there, y'all. Just to hold those knots. And same thing. Hit it with a UV light. Dry those, to protect that thread. Dry those knots on there. It is, and this will be the last fly I'm tying right here, y'all. I'll show y'all the other one I tied if you hadn't watched the stream all the way through. That's basically it, y'all. This is the fly that the last fly charter I had a few days ago. We were smoking them on this fly right here, y'all. It's a little shrimp pattern. So started off with a Ahrex SA220 hook, a 2/0 hook. Put some pink eyeballs on that bad boy. And these are heavier right here, y'all. When I get that fly, when I drop that fly in front of a redfish, I want to drop and get down. Most of the time, the redfish, black drum, all that, they're looking down feeding, y'all. You'll come across, you'll actually see their tail sticking out of the water. The fish will be nose down with their tail sticking out of the water sometimes feeding. So you want that fly. And I'll use a lighter fly if I'm fishing super shallow. If I'm fishing like, and this sounds crazy, but we do all the time. If I'm fishing like 10 or 11 inches, less than a foot of water, I might use a lighter fly to let it kind of drop a little slower. But if I'm fishing, a foot and a half, 2 feet of water, I want that fly to drop down quick. So I got heavier eyes on there. We put a deer tail on there, y'all. I took a black Sharpie, put some black stripes on here. Then we added these little shrimp eyes right here on the back. Little easy shrimp eyes. Then we added just a couple little chartreuse strands of flash right there, y'all. You don't need much. Then we went with a pink saddle hackle, just a pink feather. Then I went with like a peachy colored crack wrap, and then a white crack wrap. And when this is in the water, y'all, all this will flow backwards. All this will flow backwards in the water. It'll basically flow back like that in the water. And that's basically it on that fly, y'all. This is the other fly we tied. Does anybody say that ties flies a lot? Do y'all ever screw up like I do and say fly ties? I do that all the time. Like, I'm going to go fly some ties instead of tie some flies. All right, y'all, my dogs are coming to me licking me, so I got to feed them. This is the other tie. See, I almost said just in. This is the other fly I tied to start off with. It's basically kind of like a Hopedale crab pattern, except I added a few little legs on there, and I added some EP brush to it to make a bigger body on that thing so it really pushes water. This is my favorite fly that I throw is a Hopedale crab pattern. That's what me and my clients have caught most of our fish on, the majority of our fish on over the years. This greenish, olive color, whatever, Hopedale crab pattern is my favorite fly down here in Louisiana, y'all. That's what we smoke them on. So same thing, we start off with a green olive colored deer tail, added some black stripes just for the fun of it. Threw 2 different colors, like some gold and like a little brown flash on the, threw some shiny on the hiney right there. I put some, and then I put a olive colored saddle hackle feather on there towards the back. And then I went with some little crab legs off to the side, some little legs. Then I went with that EP brush to add a thick body to it. And then like a little olive color with some gold, little piece of crack wrap right at the beginning of it just to add some shine. So y'all, that is the 2 flies we tied, the 2 ties we flied today, y'all. That's them. This is the one we smoked them on my last charter. Actually, these are the 2 flies we were throwing on my last charter right here. And so if y'all watch the video, you'll see them. But thank y'all for watching. If you're on YouTube, please subscribe, leave a comment. I'm still growing my channel, even though I've been doing YouTube for years. You know, I don't look good in a bikini. I can fish, but I don't look good in a bikini. So my channel's still growing. So, all right, y'all. That's it. Thank y'all for watching. I got to go feed the dogs because they're corralled around me. If I don't feed them, they're gonna start eating me. So, thank y'all for watching. Go watch some more of my videos, and we'll do it again. Thank y'all.